Hi, my name is Erica McDonald, and this is my submission for the Poems by Women in the Past assignment. Um, I just want to preface before I start that I do have my iPad here. I'm just looking at my annotations of the poems, um, and I also have notes that I'll be looking at just in case I'm looking off screen at all. So the first poem that I'm going to read is a song in the front yard by Gwendolyn Brooks. I've stayed in the front yard all my life. I want to peek at the back, where it's rough and untended and hungry weed grows. A girl gets sick of a rose. I want to go in the backyard now, and maybe down the alley to where the charity children play. I want a good time today. They do some wonderful things. They have some wonderful fun. My mother sneers, but I say it's fine. How they don't have to go in at 9:15. My mother, she tells me that Johnny May will grow up to be a bad woman. That George will be taken to jail, soon or late, on account of last winter he sold our back gate. But I say it's fine. Honest, I do. And I'd like to be a bad woman too, and wear the brave stockings of night black lace and strut down the streets with paint on my face. So that was a song in the front yard. The second poem I chose is The Heart of a Woman by Georgia Douglas Johnson. The heart of a woman goes forth with the dawn, as a lone bird, soft winging so restlessly on. Afar o'er life's turrets and vales does it roam. In the wake of those echoes, the heart calls home. The heart of a woman falls back with the night and enters some alien cage in its plight, and tries to forget it has dreamed of the stars while it breaks, breaks on the sheltering bars. So these two poems, I really liked a lot. I think that they have a good amount of contrast, even though they're kind of talking about the same thing, which is dreaming of a different life, one free of expectations, of rules, of protection, of having to be a prim and proper woman, having to be ladylike, having a sense of freedom from that and dreaming of it. But where they diverge is that in The Heart of a Woman, it's told by an older woman, or at least a more mature woman, in my opinion. That's how I interpreted it. So the difference here, where in A Song in the Front Yard, she says, and I'd like to be a bad woman too, and wear the brave stockings of night black lace and strut down the streets with paint on my face. Whereas in The Heart of a Woman, she says, tries to forget it has dreamed of the stars while it breaks on the sheltering bars. So for me, both of these talk about dreaming. I mean, in The Heart of a Woman, she straightforward says, like, my heart has, like, a woman's heart has dreamed of the stars. It's dreamed of this world where she's free and she can do whatever she wants, like how in the first stanza she's saying, as a woman leaves the home, or as she thinks about leaving the home, soft winging restlessly. These are indicators of a sense of freedom. And she even says, like, when the heart of a woman falls back with the night and enters some alien cage in its plight. I really liked the term alien cage in this poem. I thought it was interesting because she's kind of personifying a woman's heart in this writing and then saying an alien cage, which to me, I liked it's talking about like coming home, um, and realizing, like thinking back on what you experienced throughout the day, maybe when you were out, and how that's the life that you really want. But I also liked Alien Cage, referring to, like, it made me think of like the rib cage, like when the heart returns to the rib cage. So I really thought that that was interesting. But on the other hand, in A Song in the Front Yard, this is pretty clearly, in my opinion, from the perspective of a younger girl. Um, and in the end, when she says, "I'd like to be a bad woman too, and wear the brave stockings of night black lace, and strut down the streets with paint on my face," she's still dreaming of having that unruled life. Um, the experiencing the side of life that, the other kids that are in the alley and in the backyard, they don't have any rules. They are free, basically. Um, and she wants that, and she's still dreaming of it, and not, her mother shuts her down, but she's not having it. She doesn't shut herself down in the way that the narrator in The Heart of a Woman does, because she's already lived through more years and experienced more, so she understands that from her perspective, she feels like there's nothing that she can do, that this is just the life that she has, and there is no changing it, even though it's what she dreams of. So I really did enjoy these two poems. I feel like I saw a sense of myself in both of them. Not that I've particularly ever felt like, it's not like I haven't been allowed to go and be free and play and do what I wanted as a kid, because, it's just a different time that I've grown up in. This poem is from, I don't have the date here, but it's an older poem. And so while I don't have the same rules and expectations, there was still an expectation growing up of being ladylike. That was a phrase I heard a lot as a child, that's not very ladylike of you, this, that, and the other. And my parents always did encourage me to be who I am, but there's also that double standard of be who you are, but make sure she's ladylike. Make sure she acts a certain way, make sure she doesn't dress too provocatively or speak too loudly, and all these different things. So I feel like I can relate to these poems, even if I haven't been through the exact situation that they're describing. And in The Heart of a Woman, it's kind of the same thing. I feel like I've struggled for a long time with, coming home at night, going to bed, and staying up and being in my head about the life that I want or the things that I wish that I could have. And, I've thought this, I'm sure most women have thought this, about what it would be like to live a day as a man, to be a man and to not have to think about all these other things before you're just existing. To wake up in the morning and feel like you have to put on makeup, like you have to wear certain things, like you have to look presentable, or to be out and to not be concerned about who's around you, and have to, really just restrict yourself, really just pay attention and do what you can to, first of all, keep yourself safe, and to not be seen as too much or too loud or too opinionated, because then you're a bitch, and then you're this, that, and the other. There's always a label for women, and I feel like when it comes to men, that isn't really the case. So I do definitely feel like I relate to them in this way, and that's why I really liked these poems. And I mean, like I just said, women definitely are still, I think, struggling with this issue of not feeling free, even though we have a lot more freedom than the women who wrote these poems did. There's still parts of life that hold us back from being 100% ourselves 100% of the time, like men do. Yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed reading these poems and analyzing them, and I'm excited to talk about them in class.